Hey, good morning, everyone. It is time here in the Bozard Ford studio. Did you notice? Did you notice?
I
Honey?
did.
Yeah,
I did.
Bozard. Yeah. So we are in the studio. It's the first time you've been in the studio since we have officially
It's true.
named the
It's
studio
true.
this. So
Thank you for having me.
we are excited. We're excited you're here with us. Next time we'll make sure you're in here with Amanda so you guys can girl power over top of me here. So, but we're real excited. It is a wonderful Friday. It is Memorial Day weekend. So I know a lot of you guys have plans out there, and just be careful because traffic is going to be busy. It's already started in downtown. But first thing we got to talk about, we obviously have Letti Bozard in the studio with us, and she's going to be talking about employee pricing, a lot of things that's going on at Bozard Ford. I want to talk about generational families owning the business and passing it down, because I find that so interesting. Blake, you might be taking over the 904 now, so you need to pay attention. And just so much more. We got so much to talk about. But the first thing we have to do is we have to talk about Bozard Ford.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Since 1949, Bozard Ford Lincoln has been more than just a dealership. It's been a trusted family-owned part of St. Augustine community for over 75 years. Founded by U.S. Navy veterans Fred H. Bozard Jr. and Fred Bozard III, their legacy of service continues today through unmatched customer care. You guys just do an amazing job out there, and everybody loves you. Award-winning facilities and deep community involvement, from 91 climate control service bays to our no appointment quick lane. You guys, how do you guys even pull that off? I mean, every time I read that, I was like, how do they pull that off? Everyone's, usually has to give you a couple days in advance. Wi-Fi in the customer lounge and fantastic foods and drinks at Ford Garage Restaurant. Everything they do is designed to serve you. Experience a national recognized customer service honored by Triple Crown Award, President's Awards, and more. Bozard Ford Lincoln is here to serve you with great pricing, great selections, and even better people. Bozard Ford Lincoln, they are driven to inspire. All right, so it's so funny reading that read in front of you. I just wanted to go, you do this. You know it better than anybody. So we also have to give shout outs to our other sponsors: Fidus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Bin 39 Wine Bar, B&S Signs, Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, St. Augustine Pizza, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, and St. Augustine Handy House. All right. We don't survive without our sponsors like you and the other sponsors. But if you guys would please get out there and check out our YouTube page. We're just a little bit short of the subscribers where we need to be to kind of really get the word out on YouTube. So we need more subscribers on YouTube. And if you want to pay for Blake's gas today, hit those star buttons that we got right there in the old Facebook. All right, Blake, good morning. You back there in the live?
I'm doing great. Just fantastic.
Aren't you supposed to say that to me? Right before the show, you're supposed to say, Dad, you're doing great.
No.
He offered you a water. He's very hospitable. He's on task of all the things. Gave us the countdown. You're doing a great job, Blake.
He's the best director producer
the
we have.
best.
So he's the only one we have. But
You're still the best.
He is. He's awesome. All right, we have a question of the day. Now, the question of the day, all three of us went to Flagler College. We're graduates of Flagler College. But this question is out there for everybody. What makes the college you went to special in your mind, and why did you choose that was the college you're going to, or why do you love the college that much? What makes Flagler special to you?
Well, I cannot tell a lie. The first answer to that question of why did I choose it was because they would take me.
You were accepted.
I did not go there my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I went to UCF, great school. However, I did not actually think class applied to me. Mm-hmm. I felt like a lot of other things on campus applied to me.
Yeah.
But class, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So at toward the end of freshman year, my dad was like, so we're not going to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And you can just come right on home and go to, community college or whatever. And so, anyway, I found it in myself to march down to Flagler College after the deadline, which of course we're talking a lot of years ago. I'm sure they're not able to do that type of stuff now, but 25 years ago.
Yeah, I got you by a couple of weeks.
And just figured out a way to get in front of some folks and have, allow me to plead my case, and they let me come in. Yeah. So the first answer is that they took me. But my experience there, it certainly was, that's where I needed to be. In hindsight, you look back and you're like, man, I had this whole plan of what I thought I needed. I thought I needed a big school. I thought I needed a certain experience, but what I really needed was Flagler. And Flagler, I've said this many, many times, differentiator. Flagler for me is truly where the sense of community started for me. I had parents and grandparents who were community minded, and of course I learned some of that along the way, but Flagler was where I learned what community meant,
where it sank in,
and I figured out, wait a minute, I have a responsibility to contribute to the community. Right. So pretty special place for me, for sure.
All right. Now this one, I've never asked Blake this question. So I want to hear Blake's answer. Why Flagler, Blake? You had options out there. I mean, he actually could have got into any school. You might have had a look. He could have got into about any school. So Blake, why did you choose Flagler?
Because I know I had a lot of connections to get a lot of good scholarship money from it.
So it was a financial decision,
and plus also a little bit of bragging as well, to say like, hey, my mom went to Flagler, my dad went to Flagler, I might as well just go to Flagler as well, continue the family tradition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So and my Flagler kind of chose me more than I chose them. I was a baseball player. And it was between Flagler and University of West Florida when I came out. And I also went my first 2 years to Seminole. When I came out, I had those two offers that were kicking around. Came out of high school, I had a bunch of offers. I kind of peaked in high school. But I mean, when I got to Flagler, I think the thing I loved about Flagler the most is I had classes where I had 8 people in my class. I mean, everybody leaned on each other in a lot of ways. I didn't have that at my junior college. I'm sure you didn't have it at UCF.
Right, absolutely. That's what was missing.
You were kind of thrown into the pit there, and you're survive. But I think that really helped me. And coming from DeLand, St. Augustine was so much like DeLand. I think that helped me too. I felt comfortable, and just like you, with that sense of community. St. Augustine's always kind of wrapped their arm. I mean, St. Augustine's been great to me. I mean, you grew up here, Blake grew up here, but I mean, St. Augustine adopted me early on. Like even early on in my career, everyone thought I was a local.
Yeah, from here.
From here.
You're just crazy enough to fit in here, Troy.
I think that was exactly what it was.
He's kind of crazy.
So. It'll be interesting to see what other people say about their colleges, but because of the three of us had that Flagler bond, I wanted to ask that question because I knew all of us would have a little bit different. All right, you know what it's time for? It is a time for a quick check of the weather. It's going to be beautiful. All right, and that weather report was brought to us by, you missed Wednesday night. I should have had you come in Wednesday night. Ben 39. Have you been there yet? Oh my gosh. Urban came in and brought in some amazing wines. Discover one of St. Augustine's best kept secrets. Ben 39, tucked inside the St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street, with over 91 boutique wines, 50 of them rated 90 points or higher by Robert Parker. It's the perfect spot for a romantic date or a relaxing after-work unwind. Sip by the glass or bottle in a serene courtyard setting and enjoy live music Thursday through Sunday. Open daily, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop by and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Ben 39, your taste to discover. All right, it is time for the Blake's traffic report. Blake, what you got back there, buddy?
Busy traffic today. Looks I guess because since today is Memorial Day weekend Friday, a lot of people are now on the road, so a little bit busier than what we've seen throughout the week.
Yeah, it does look good. It looks,
You won't catch me on 95 today. I
no.
will go all the way around.
All this weekend, I'll stay away from 95.
All the way around.
Don't go on 95 this weekend unless if you absolutely have to. So, all right, that hit the Blake's traffic report was brought to you by Old Town Trolley. Oh God, I almost coughed.
You need the water?
I already got water over here. So, all right. Anyway, Old Town Trolley. Climb aboard Old Town Trolley and experience over 500 years of history in the heart of St. Augustine. This fully narrated 90-minute tour features 22 convenient stops and covers more than 100 points of interest, including iconic landmarks like the Castillo de San Marco, the Fountain of Youth, and Flagler's Historic Hotel. With open-air views and all-day hop-on, hop-off access, it's the most fun and flexible way to explore the nation's oldest city. Your ticket also includes free admission to the St. Augustine History Museum, and local St. Johns County residents ride free with a full fare guest through the Hometown Pass program at hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time.
All right. We have one story, and then we're gonna get into our discussion. I wouldn't call it an interview. I think
You already know me.
I think it's a discussion with Letti. But this one I felt like we needed to get out there so people knew what was happening. St. Johns County announces the reopening of Butler West and Volano boat ramps. And it says Volano Landing. I've never called it Volano.
I've never even heard it called Volano Landing.
Yeah, I've never heard it called Volano. And I kind of built the place. Never heard it called that. But St. Johns County officials announced Butler West, which has been under construction for a little bit, and Volano, which just this past week they did some dredging and some stuff out there. But both of those will be open today, May 23rd. Butler West was closed for improvements, for expanding the parking and extending the current floating dock. They also did some dredging out there. And Volano has been closed recently for some dredging. I can tell you there was some low tides a couple weeks ago. Some people got
not getting in and out.
People got hung up out there, and this is just in time because today is the last day of National Safe Boating Week, and a lot of people take their boats out on Memorial Day weekend. Just be real careful out there. Be courteous. If you ever want to see a divorce, just go to Volano.
Go to the boat ramp.
Woo!
It might be mine. No, I'm kidding. I'm the person that has to back the trailer down, and I'm yelling out the window. I don't know what to do. I don't know where you are. I can't see you. Yeah.
Where are you at? I said stop. Yeah, no, it's quite entertaining, but it is stressful too because you got people lined up. You're trying to get everything done. You forget to unhook one item, and then all of a sudden you're hung up, and it's like, now you delayed another 34 seconds. It feels like 6 hours that you're there. But I got a funny thing you're talking about. It might be yours. I drove to the wheel yesterday, and there's like 5 beautiful Ford trucks at the wheel. And I walk in, and it's like, I was wondering where those were from. They were beautiful. They were all lined up perfectly. Like I was like,
doesn't it seem like they could have just carpooled in one truck?
No, that's not possible.
That's not possible. Okay, I was just checking.
That's not even possible. I can't even believe you brought that up.
I can't either.
So, all right. But Letti, thank you so much for coming in. This is the first time you've been in since Pete and Davey are no longer with us. And we really just appreciate your support. But, you guys do so much in the community. And it says in the read about the community being generational. How is it that you guys are? I mean, it seems like you guys are on every single community do good thing. And I try to be a do-gooder, but I can't compete with the Bozards, and I don't want to. But you guys are involved in so many great things.
And we have a strategy for that. Mm-hmm. So I will tell you, based on the number of requests that we get and the number that we say yes to, we are not on everything.
Yeah.
There are so many requests, mm-hmm. right? And of course we wish, I think just like anybody else that's a pretty decent human, you wish you could just help and support every single thing, and we can't. So as the community's grown, as we've grown, the strategy that we have in place is that the vast majority of our financial resources that we spend in community support, which is sponsoring events, partnering with organizations, fundraising, lending out vehicles for certain purposes and things like that. Just the whole spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. The vast majority of that is led by our team. Mm-hmm. So we prioritize something that one of our employees is going to personally be engaged in. Mm-hmm. So if we have an employee who's going to coach their kids' little league team, that's going to rise up the list. Mm-hmm. Because we want to support, we want the resources of the company. That employee is contributing to creating those resources, mm-hmm. right? They are part of that team. Bo does not work on any cars. I don't sell any cars. Mm-hmm. They are contributing to where those resources come from. So we want that to be a full circle thing, that they can have access to those resources to support the things inside the community that they are working on. Mm-hmm. Because we care about their whole life. We don't just care about their life at work, mm-hmm. right? So if there's an employee that's like, hey, I'm working with some friends and we're going to put on this fundraiser. Man, I don't want to be the title sponsor of that, mm-hmm. right? And what's been cool about doing that over the last, we've probably been doing it that way for the better part of the last 5 years, 4-ish years maybe. Mm-hmm. And some of our folks are really stepping up and becoming a part. They're serving on boards of organizations. They're creating and leading and pulling off fundraisers, which an mm-hmm. entire fundraising event is not easy. Mm-mm. So they're stepping up in lead roles in a lot of these organizations, which is really, really cool. So that's like a little tip or trick if you want to get in at Bozard for some of our resources, make friends with one of our employees and get them involved in your organization. Because honestly, that's where the vast majority of it's coming from, right? Some of them, yes, are things that I personally am connected with or both personally connected with. But we work there too, by the way. We're employees too.
You guys are employees too, but you guys are on several boards yourself, individual. I mean, you're one of the trustees at Flagler.
Yep. Very new, but yes.
Bo is with the cultural events group. I think I had Dylan in yesterday. I think they said he was the vice president or something like that. But you're on other boards. I mean, you and I have done fundraisers for SES together. We're constantly at the same location doing fundraisers together, and I find it like, it warms my heart to see people that have success still giving and doing it for the right reasons. And I think that's what separates some other people do it. It's like, oh, am I getting enough impressions? All right, you're doing it to make the community stronger.
Yeah, we want to make. We definitely want to make an impact. We want to make an impact, and we want to make a relationship. So there are times when someone will send in a sponsorship package, and I will call and say, hey, we really want to be involved in this, but you have this whole piece about you want us to bring cars, and I actually don't want to bring cars. Mm-hmm. Now, some of them we want to bring cars, right? Mm-hmm. Jimmy Jam, awesome event that we mm-hmm. want. Vehicle display. Back in the day when Rhythm and Ribs was a thing, we wanted big vehicle display. That's a lot of exposure for our business, mm-hmm. right? With the folks that are coming to that event. But I think a lot of times people assume that we're going to want that for us, it's all about, let's make sure we get the car there, mm-hmm. or whatever the exposure is, website, mentions or whatever. And I look at those and they're important, mm-hmm. and I like to talk to people about them, but they're not always the right fit, right? We just mm-hmm. want to make, and especially through our employees, it's like I mentioned, they're coaching a little league team, or they're going to be the president of the PTO at their kid's school. Man, that's a big job. Yeah. That's a big job that they're taking on as a volunteer position in their life. And so we want to lend the support to that so that they can make those relationships and that they can feel like they contributed, to their child or the thing that they're passionate about and stuff like that. So we do have a strategy with it. We're not in everything, but as long as my team wants to get involved and put in the sweat equity part, then we'll continue to find a way to lend the resources part.
All right, explain to us the Ford employee pricing that's out there right now. I mean that seems like, oh wow, that seems like a really good time for people to get out there and buy a Ford. Yeah. How much longer does that go into play?
For right now, the program is set to run through the end of June. Okay. We find out just like everybody else, like on the day that something comes out and the day that something goes away. So right now it's available on specific models through the end of June. It's a great program. I mean, that's one of those things where whether it's Ford or General Motors over, the last 10 or 20 years. That's come out a couple of times. It's real.
Mhm.
There are pre-negotiated prices for Ford Motor Company employees and Ford dealership employees, and that is what this is. This is just saying, hey, we're going to take the pre-negotiated price that's always there for Ford Motor Company employees, which is even better than the one that we get, and we're going to extend it to the public. They just take that. It's literally written on the invoice of the car. You can go into any Ford dealer or General Motors dealer, and you can say, let me see it, and it's going to say right there, A plan, and that's the price, right? So when the manufacturer does something like that, it's always a great time for customers to take advantage of it because they're just trying to move cars. There was a lot of inventory, a lot of concern and speculation about the tariff conversation. And so a lot of the big manufacturers decided, hey, let's just get some of this inventory moved. And that's the way that they do it. Yeah.
And I find that kind of, this is the way our society is. And I'm sure the consumers, because that's when, besides a house, your car's your next biggest investment. The tariffs haven't actually hit yet.
Right.
But everyone's complaining about tariff pricing.
It has been the biggest topic of conversation for the last 5 months that we don't know anything about.
Yeah. And we're not sure exactly how it's going to land, but they haven't really hit yet. But everyone's saying, oh, it's tariff pricing. But that's more the business and the fear of the consumer. What's that fear of consumer? How do you manage that with those consumers when they come in and talk about a situation like that hasn't happened
that
yet?
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah. And that we don't really have a lot of solid information day by day on or if it happens, when it happens, what it's going to look like, right? So it's not just like is it going to happen speculation. It's when it did happen or when it does happen, we don't even know yet really how it'll land, right? For all kinds of different products or whatever. So customers have, over the last handful of months, have been all across the spectrum. We've got folks that are like, I don't know what tariff is, all the way to folks that are like, I was not planning on buying a car, but I have got to buy a car today because the tariffs are going to change everything. And everywhere in between, right? We're all getting our information from different places. There's not a lot of consistency in the information. So it's been interesting to have those conversations. For us, we're just honest. We're like, hey, we don't know either, right? We don't try to tackle it. We've had some conversations with our team, not a ton, but some conversations with our team, especially on the sales side, to just be like, hey, listen, you can share with them that we don't have much more information than they have. Right now, this is what Ford's doing. We obviously also have a piece of our business that we need to manage our inventory. So just like anyone else, just like things go on sale at Walmart, there are going to be times when we have a heavier inventory and we're going to bring prices down. And there are going to be times when inventories are tight and you're going to see dealers and Walmart keep prices up, right? So we just try to be honest and share with them, hey, we're not 100% sure either, but here's what we have to work with right now. And, there have been a couple, very few, that like really the customer wanted to really try to dig in and get us to give them a little more information about what we thought would happen. And if tariffs go into place on new vehicles, eventually after that, used vehicles prices will, the demand for used vehicles will go up, which will be good for a little bit, and then those used vehicle prices will be higher because the demand's higher. So there will be those after effects, but they'll come in order, right? It's not like the day a tariff goes into place, everything changes because that tariff is going to affect
it's not like flipping
future price. It's not flipping a switch.
Yeah.
It's just, so we have to kind of wait it out and be aware of it. But honestly, as a franchise dealer, not a lot we can do about it. Ford's going to send us the vehicles. General Motors is going to send their Chevy dealers the vehicles, and they're going to be priced how they're going to be priced. I think that your privately owned auto stores, like your used car lots and places like that, they'll have to figure out maybe some more things than we'll have to figure out because all they have is used cars, and used cars will be kind of at the mercy of the new car market. So
that'll push
be interesting to
them
watch.
to kind of have to make an adjustment.
Absolutely.
And so many people just think Bozard Ford, Lincoln, they just sell cars, but a big part of your business, and maybe even over half your business, is servicing. Yeah. And your service center, it is
giant,
crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. It is nice. It's clean. And, so explain how important that is to the dealership. When I go out there and look at this, and it's impressive. Like when we say 91 bays, it looks like it looks like it goes on forever.
We just closed in 7 more, so we're pushing 100 at this point. We had some outdoor bays.
Blake changed the read.
Yeah, we'll have to rewrite the read. We had some bays that were outdoor facing bays. They weren't air conditioned, and we used to use them for some training, and now we use them for Bozard build, which is the upfit
the custom
stuff that we do, the custom stuff that we do for trucks and stuff like that. So, so we're continuing to grow that, and 40 mobile vans running around the area.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. Yeah. I've lost my glasses in case anyone at Bozard Ford sees them.
I'll give you a little sneak peek. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. But it is an important part of our business, and it's interesting talking about where customers are on the spectrum with regards to tariffs. Not only have there been customers that are like, man, I wasn't planning to buy a car, but now I am going to buy one because I think I'm going to hedge this future price increase. There's also been a lot of customers that were like, man, I was actually thinking about buying a car next year, but now that I think the prices are going to go up, I'm going to put some money into repairing this one and keep it for a few, So the decisions are made all across the board. Every single customer and their family are going through what they're going through with their transportation. And a lot of the stuff that goes on with owning a car is keeping it running, right?
Yeah.
And so service is a big deal for us. And, it's funny if you think about just commentary of traffic and you're talking about news from time to time, home development, all the stuff that's in the top of mind conversations in St. Johns County right now. All of that is extra people. And so we've seen the results of that. The folks over the last handful of years that have moved into St. Johns County, and we have to meet that need. So we don't have almost 100 service bays just because we think they're pretty. They're expensive. We would have less of them if we could, right? But that's part of our responsibility when we sell you a car, right? And that's actually something that we have to work on. When car sales get really crazy, like a lot of people are buying cars, we get a little stressed because we're like, man, we have a responsibility to service those cars. If they bought a Ford, we're the dealer in this area, right? That's supposed to be responsible.
You guys work on all makes and models, though.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. But the responsibility truly is to service our Ford customers from a franchise standpoint, right? That's a true responsibility. And that's kind of where a couple of years ago, where this mobile service thing, growing our mobile service came from, because we want to be able to take care. We got to a point where if you called in for an appointment, it was like, we can get you in 4 weeks. Ooh. That's hardly keeping up with our responsibility to those customers. So mobile service has really been able, it's made it where we are able to be like, hey, let's figure out what exactly you need. We can get to you tomorrow and at least diagnose it. And then we can make sure we're sending it to the right place. Might need to go to Quick Lane, might need to go to Main Shop. We might be able to fix it right there in your driveway. Yeah. Right. So we've done a lot of work over the last year and a half. It's like, that's exactly what it is. Vehicle it's triage. And it's really cool, and people should really take advantage of it. It's, and of course, you hear about mobile service a lot, like, oh, I can get my oil changed. We will do that too. But don't be afraid of mobile service if you have a check engine light on. So, like if you call in to a dealer, us or anybody else, and they offer you mobile service has come a really long way. And many, 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 many times we're able to diagnose
they can just put it right on, and it tells you, hey, this is what's wrong with it. So what would be the breakdown of your sales side to your service side, like percentage wise? Is it about 50-50, or is it
percentage wise of
staff?
Of staff? No, our parts and service department is probably 60 to 65%. And then our sales staff is probably somewhere in that 40% range, 35 to 45 or 40% of our staff.
And I want people to understand how important how many employees do you guys actually have out there? Because you guys employ a lot of people, which is super valuable to the community. I mean, you give a lot, but if these people didn't have a job, those people are also giving. Those people are also taking care of people and putting money back into the community. So
yeah, absolutely. We currently hover right around 450 people. Bozard Ford Lincoln. So Ford dealership, Lincoln dealership, all the service operations, the Quick Lane and the remote services operation that we employ On the campus, though, another between 75 and 100 at Ford's Garage and 20 or so at the daycare. So there's a lot of people on our campus.
Over 500. Over 500 at the campus.
Yeah.
All right, we got to do the Gas Buddy.
Let's do it.
Don't go anywhere. We got more to talk about. We got to do the Gas Buddy gas report. Tell us in the comments of what gas prices you see. Blake's pulling it up right now, and he's going to be reading the Gas Buddy gas report.
All right, real quick though. Dad, you
Yes.
made a prediction a while ago that's still on the table. Can you please read it out to the people again?
Gas prices will be in the 260s before 4th of July.
All right. First one, Mobile and Circle K, $2.59.
Oh, look at you go.
So,
All right.
I was talking about the transition of gases and why during the summer it's going to go down, and that's how it was. That's just because I'm old and I've seen it every summer.
All right. So besides below 260, we also have the Circle K at US 1 North at 281, the Circle K at 207, 285, Shell 146 King at 287. We have the Owens at 78 South Ponce at 289, A18 Discount Beverage at 299, Gate on Mizell Road at 312. The Shell at 216, Ponce de Leon Boulevard at 315, and the Gate at 4075 US 1 at 321. That Gas Buddy Gas Report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. Trouble with law, called the name St. Augustine has trusted for years. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, available 24/7. Their experience and compassionate team works fast to get you or your loved ones out of jail and back home. From paperwork to release, they make the process simple, discreet, and stress-free. No judgment. Just when you need it the most. When time matters, remember the name and the number. Curse Sale Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245.
All right, I got the live music report today. We're starting at 5 o'clock. This list is so long. Memorial Day weekend. We couldn't do the noon we would be here for like the next hour and a half. But it's brought to us by visitstaugustine.com. Starting at 5 o'clock, these are all 5 o'clocks. Denny Blue at Guy Harvey Resort, Landfall at Marina Munch. New guys on the dock at OC White's. Rob Peck at the Tides Oyster Company and Grill. Shayla Nelson at Traywinds Lounge at 5 o'clock. Dewey Vaya at the Boathouse at 5 o'clock. Now we're going to 5:30. We got Jim Acelta at Schooner's Seafood House. 6 o'clock, we have the House Cats at Shea Lamore. Ace Wynn at DJ's Clam Shack. Burn Unit at Fusion 904 Eatery at 6 o'clock. Baby Gray at the Hilton St. Augustine Historic Bayfront. Edwin Barbosa at La Casina at the Cellar upstairs. At Mellow Mushroom, we have Eddie Pickett. Also at Mellow Mushroom, we have, this is in Marabella, not the one here. That was, people might have been upset. I was looking for Eddie. Also, there is Jesse Cruz, Caleb Joy at Mellow Mushroom here at St. John's, Shyla Macaluso at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill at 6 o'clock, Paper City Hustlers at Pesca Volano by Michael Lugo at 6 o'clock, Colin Costco at Salt Life Food Shack at 6 o'clock, Vegas Gray at River and Ford at 6:30, Joe Lee, such a beautiful voice, as Casa Divino 57 at 7 o'clock, True Phonic at the Colonial Oak Music at 7 o'clock, Mike Hines at Meehan's at 7 o'clock, The Boogie Freaks at Arnold's at 7 o'clock, Chrome Horse, the Bob Dylan Tribute at Cafe 11, Cottonmouth at Traywinds at 8:30, John Q at Milltop at 9, and the Mandela Effect at Prohibition Kitchen at 10 o'clock.
Nope. Just Mandela Music.
Mandela Music?
Yes.
Did I say Mandela Effect?
Yes.
Okay, that's my dyslexia, just reading way ahead of, my brain gets ahead of my, whatever it should be. All right, we do have a new read, and this is from Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home, trust the local experts at Fidus Roofing and Construction, voted best of St. Augustine every year since 2012. Whether it's an emergency repairs or full roof replacement, Fidus delivers expert shingle and metal installation using top-tier materials like the GAF Lifetime Roofing System, all backed by a strong warranties and GAF Master Elite certification. And this summer, Vitus is a proud supporter of the Big Summer Fun Scramble on Friday, June 27th at the Golf Club of Southampton, benefiting Big Brothers and Big Sisters of St. John's. Tee off for a great cause with breakfast, lunch, and raffles. And sign up today at bbbsgolftournament.com. All right. And give Vitus Roofing a call at 904-355-ROOF.
They do pavers.
And they do gutters. All right. We will have Big Brothers and Big Sisters in a couple weeks right before that tournament to kind of give us a little more details. But that's what I love about our sponsors. Like, we go through our sponsor list. They're constantly involved. Everybody on our list is kind of spread out in a lot of different ways, and it just kind of you gotta love St. Augustine.
Yeah, you gotta love it. I was actually thinking that as you were reading it, if you took all of your reads and went to those folks and said, "Hey, give us a list of what you're supporting," you'd use this whole hour just talking about the things that they're supporting. So I hope everybody will support those businesses, because there's a lot of we're not the only ones out there, going full circle with all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, and I love, I mean, like I said, I mean, we did a fundraiser last Monday night. We have to do for Home Again. And we have to match Dolores Barweaver has a $200,000 match. So we have to raise it from the time that they say it. And we have 1 year to do it. And we did a fundraiser, like we just kind of put it together and invited a lot of different guests and stuff like that. And no heavy pressure, nothing like that. And people wrote checks, and it was like $85,000 for just, Lorna and Chris at Raintree donated everything. It was a beautiful spread and everything. But it was just like, gosh, it's just one of those things. I'm standing there going, and I'm seeing people actually, while I'm talking, writing checks for the homeless and the veterans. And I'm like, I feel bad for other people. They don't get to live here. They don't get to live here. So, well, I want to talk about this was your first graduation at Flagler as a trustee.
So I didn't make it to the graduation.
Oh, you didn't?
I was not feeling well that day, and we had kind of that bug going around, and I was right in the mix of it, and I was afraid to share said bug. So I did bow out. I was signed up to be there, so I didn't make it, and I'm really sad about
gosh.
it. So, but it is my first. I've been to 2 board meetings, so I'm new. I'm the newbie.
Yeah. But I mean, you know the ropes. And you know a lot of people in that room too.
Yes.
So it's not like you're completely uncomfortable being in that room. But so at Ford Lincoln, how does, you're a third generation?
Third generation.
Third generation. You and Bo are third generation. How does that look, passing down, like your grandfather to your father to you and Bo? Do they help you with that at the Ford Motor Company? Like, okay, this is a big responsibility. We want to make sure you're doing this right. How do they help you with that process, or is it just like Mike's a third generation guy too here at A.D. Davis? Right. His dad bought the company from his grandfather. Mike bought the company from his father, and now his boys are working there too. I mean, so it's a smaller in comparison, but it's still a lot of the same. Still a lot of on the around the dining room table training.
Yes.
So how does that work, and how much support do you get from there compared to what you get around the dining room table?
I think the vast majority of it is the dining room table and working together and communicating with each other. Ford does have a training program when you get to the point that you're going to have some actual legal ownership in a dealership, in a family-owned dealership. There's a course you have to go through and things like that. But and it's a nice course, but it's not, you couldn't step into just that and then be like, here I am, there's a lot of the business part of it that you have to learn.
And I'm sure every community is different too.
Every community is different. Absolutely. I mean, you can certainly buy a car dealership, right? Having not been in the car business. But you're not going to learn what you need to learn in that. They don't offer you really what, you need to learn to run it. They offer some stuff with regards to the actual succession itself, the transfer of ownership and things like that. So, but yeah, I think Mike would probably answer this the same way. I mean, you get involved, you get invested, emotionally invested, and you invest your time. And for Bo and I as brother and sister, because we've done that alongside of each other. That relationship has been so important.
I was going to ask, is that easier or does it make it harder at times?
I think a lot of people might answer that differently, but I don't know if we're just lucky or whatever, or Bo's just like the greatest guy in the world, which I personally think he is.
He's all right.
He's all right.
He's pretty awesome.
But it's not been hard for us. We have been intentional about it. That doesn't just because it hasn't been hard doesn't mean that we have not been intentional. We have to have a level of communication, right? And a level of understanding that we're very different. We have to kind of come to the table a lot and talk about things proactively rather than reactively, which my personal opinion in other businesses that I've seen where there's been sibling conflict or even sometimes parent-child conflict, it's because the important conversation is being had after a decision was made that one or the other didn't agree with. So we have a lot of proactive conversation, like, hey, it looks like we're maybe thinking about going in this direction. Are you good? Because bring to the table some things that you're worried about. I'll bring to the table, ahead of time. So that for us has been a really great tool. But yeah, it's not been harder. I mean, I would sell popsicles with Bozard.
Yeah. No.
Flat out.
No,
we could have 500 dealerships or we could sell 15 popsicles a day. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
The relationship, matters the most. And so my oldest daughter is now working at the dealership. She's been there, I think 5 or 6 years. And both kids are younger than mine, but maybe we don't know, they're the oldest one's in middle school. So we don't know yet, but as they come through, I think those are the things that we'll focus on with them is put the relationship first. Put the communication first and get the relationship right. And then I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah, no. And I'll tell you this, I got to tell you this story because just yesterday, I knew you were coming in today. And just yesterday I was at, I managed the old Bozard dealership, the Granite place. And then we have the storage unit back and I was there and I walked upstairs. And when I walked upstairs, I was like, I can kind of still smell the cigars. I know it doesn't exist anymore, but I would go up there and pick up a check for like the youth basketball league or for the little league from your dad.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, oh gosh, this is kind of bringing back some stuff. And I think the thing I remember about your dad is him sitting around the table at Shivers. He sat with his crew
every day
at Shivers, and I'd walk in and they go, all of them would call me kid. Hey kid, and because I was usually asking them for money for Parks and Rec, and but I remember them all being there in that group. And just yesterday when I walked upstairs, I was like, I literally felt like I could smell the cigars.
Listen, I remember like it was yesterday, the day that the law was passed in Florida that you couldn't smoke inside a building. And the first I think iteration of that was couldn't smoke inside businesses, restaurants, but you could still smoke at a bar, whatever the case, whatever the first iteration of that law was. Man, was my dad mad. He was not a fan of that law. He was like, this is my building. I will smoke these cigars. And he, God rest his soul, he did smoke his cigars beyond the passing of that law for a while until we were able to talk him out of it.
The paneling's still up there in his office.
I can still smell it.
Yeah. But I literally was chuckling as I walked up the stairs, and I'm just like, because I knew I was seeing you today, and it was one of those fun memories for me about being a part of St. Augustine for so long.
Yeah, and that's cool. He taught us so much, and honestly, the family business side, I think is a similarity I can draw is parenting, right? So you have some things, all of us have some things from our parents that were like, in hindsight, I'm really glad my parents did that, made that decision for me, handled that way. And then there's the list of things that you're like, well, when I'm a parent, I'm not going to do things that way, right? That's family business. You know, Bo and I both learned a lot from our dad. We didn't get to see my granddad working there, but we got to hear plenty of opinions from my granddad over the years. He wasn't shy about them. And so we took away the things that we thought we could carry forward. And then we also had things that were like, hey, this is a path that we want to take this business down that they probably wouldn't have chosen. Right.
Yeah.
Or we would choose differently from them. So
you probably have a different view. I mean, you obviously do. You have a different view than Bo, and bringing those together probably makes it even stronger.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to bring strengths to the table and allow them to complement each other and stuff like that. So.
Well, Letti, thank you so much for coming in. We really, really appreciate it. I'll have you back in here when Amanda's here.
Yeah.
You know, but just really appreciate everything you guys do and support you're giving to the 904 Now. And keeping us strong here. So thank you so much. All right. Blake, how do you want to check the comments, sir?
All right. On this Friday, I will fastidiously go find the fans' frivolous or serious comments.
That is fantastic.
No, it wasn't.
All right. B&S Signs. Want your business to get noticed and stay that way? Turn to B&S Signs, proudly family owned and serving St. Augustine for over 50 years. From bold vinyl lettering and towering pylon signs, they specialize in high-quality, custom signage built to last. Their expert team handles everything: design, installation, crane service, repairs, and maintenance with fast, responsive service that keeps your sign looking sharp. Make a lasting impression with B&S Signs. Visit bnssigns.com, because when it comes to signs, they do it all. And I just love, like, a lot of our reads say 50 years, family owned, and this one's no different right here. This one's Troy Usina. St. Augustine Handy House. Need a custom prefab portable building that's built to last? Come to St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Usina Enterprise, serving the community since 1988. With over 70 structures in stock, from sheds to barns to carports and offices, you'll find the perfect fit for your needs. Every building comes with a free delivery, leveling, and anchoring, plus easy financing options to fit your budget. Visit their location at State Road 16, open Monday through Saturday, or call 904-823-9092. St. Augustine Handy House, where quality meets convenience. What you got, Blakester?
All right, so thank you for the stars, Justin and Diana. Thank you so much for helping us out there. Wawa's at $3.19, Costco at $2.71. Kenny said that he went to the parties at the girls' dorms at college, and then he eventually got thrown out by the police. Bobby said community college of the Air Force, so he could be in physical therapy after he retires from the service. Tim's blessed to have Bozard as a sponsor of the Jimmy Jam Barbecue Slam. Kenny told Augie to host a 904 pizza party. Bobby so old that he remembers seeing 35-cent gas every day as a youngling. Tim said that a lot of the world's problems was solved at Shiver's Barbecue.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
It was.
Amanda, please come back. And apparently, Heather did put in the comments that there was another fire at Holmes Boulevard.
Oh, it came up again?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a fire yesterday. Rebecca got over there and took some pictures. It looked like a box truck had caught on fire and another vehicle beside it. They had to close down Holmes yesterday around lunchtime. When we happened to be at the wheel. Still call it the cheese wheel, at the wheel, and Maeve goes, "What's that black stuff?" And it was smoke coming up right there at that.
I was coming across the 312 bridge, headed west, like coming back on, from the island, and right as the fire started, and I was like, "That's toward my house," but it was closer than my house.
Yeah. All right. It is time for the Stoidum stat. And we all want Amanda to come back. So whoever wrote that comment, I would love for her to come back, and I don't have to do the reads. You don't have to listen to me do them. On this day, very ironically, you were looking for your glasses. 1785, Benjamin Franklin created the bifocals.
Well, yesterday I lost my bifocals, and if anyone can help me find them so I do not have to purchase an entire another pair, that would be fantastic.
All right. But Benjamin Franklin, and the reason he created this is he was having to carry two different pairs of glasses. And when he was in France, now you got to remember, this is 1785, so he was already 79 years old. when he was in France, he said he struggled because there's different foods there. So he would need his one side to look at the food and another side to look at the people he was talking to. And that's when he came up with the idea of it. And he originally called them double spectacles. And then they later became bifocals. So he did this at 79 years old, which is pretty impressive. All right. And that is brought to us by St. Augie's Pizza, downtown St. Augustine, right there at the corner of Riberia and MLK. Get yourself a slice today. Let me tell you right now, they are just a wonderful crew over there. We had dinner there a couple nights ago, and they just can't be any nicer, and the food is amazing. So get over to Augie's.
All right, I tried to point the pizza today. It's
okay.
Here.
Okay.
Wrong way. Point. So use your right hand to point.
Yeah, you got it.
Towards
this way. There you go.
There we go.
There it is, right there. It's so weird because what I'm looking at, it's that way. But
that's me at the boat ramp. That's me. I'm like, I think the trailer's going to go this way if I do this. Yeah.
I think it's easier if I was sitting there and then I could just point like that. So, all right, you guys have a very safe Memorial Day weekend. Blake, you have any other plugs?
Yes, I do have a plug. So Flagler beat North Georgia in the quarterfinals yesterday. So now we're going to be facing Barry in the women's tennis semifinals tomorrow at 9 a.m.
All right. Yeah. You have any plugs?
Thanks. I'm good. Everybody have an awesome weekend. I'll be out there on the Intercoastal that will also look like 95.
Yes.
So be nice.
Yeah,
be nice on Memorial Day weekend.
I think I'm going to try and make it out Monday. I'm probably going to go to the river on Sunday. But we're going to definitely be using those boat ramps.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.